Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movies, stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I am proud to introduce you to Tamera Fair, a professional woman of many talents who lives her life by the motto live with love and land on love. What a wonderful motto. Tamara, let's start with the basics. How did you, and I understand this is one of your passions, how did you become involved in childcare?
I first of all, let me say that I am very happy to be here and thank you for this wonderful invitation. It's amazing.
Oh,
And how,
absolutely.
oh, thank you so much. I got a story to tell you. It's going to be quick though. How did I become involved in childcare? Well, babysat all my life as soon as I could. And then I was like, okay, I want to be a doctor, but I want to go into obstetrics because I still want to work with children. But as fate would have it, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, right?
Uh-huh.
So I went to Fisk University, which I'm very proud, Fisk forever.
Yes.
And it's across the street from Meharry. And so I was studying there one night, and of course, Fisk is a party school as well as an academic school. And so one of my friends who was in med school over there said, "Come on, Tamara, scrub up and go look at this baby be born." Well, I knew that was definitely not what I wanted to do. So I had to shift lanes, and I used my gift to shift, pivoted, and I went into law, which is when I first knew about you.
Ah,
I said, well, I'm going to go into law. I'm going to be an attorney, and then I'm going to be a child advocate. And I graduated with that premise. And then one of my friend's moms, who was in childcare, said she wanted to sell her childcare. And I
mm.
said, well, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. Let me do this. And that way I can get out of my parents' pockets. I can pay for my own law school. Plummeted the LSAT. And I said, I bought it. I bought the center and I had to run it. Come to find out, that's what I was meant to do.
Yes.
So I didn't choose childcare. Childcare chose me. I was led there.
What a wonderful thing. Again, when we make plans, God tends to laugh at us and will point us in the direction that He wants us to be in and the path that He wants us to walk. Tamara, let's start talking about what has changed in childcare. We are in the midst of a global pandemic, obviously, something that no one thought would last this long and be this intense. So, how have your operations had to shift in the wake of the COVID pandemic?
Good question, and it has definitely shifted, like just dramatically in a word.
Hmm.
And so when we first went into this pandemic, like you said, we thought that we were going to be in it for maybe 3 weeks. Now, I'm on the radio. So we started reporting on our show when there were only 5 people dead in Wuhan about COVID. And
Hmm.
people were laughing at us because even though we're on iHeart, we have a huge audience. And they were like, well, if I drink COVID, well, if I drink Corona, will I get Corona? Well, now it's not so funny, right? So in terms of how our operation shifted, we went into a governor mandated shutdown, right? So we had to e-learn all of our preschool. It's hard enough to actually educate a preschooler in person. Try it in e-learning,
Yes.
and it
I've heard
becomes
that complaint numerous times, and the impact on children and their socialization skills. We're not going to really know that for many years to come.
well until you see this interview because we know it now.
Oh yeah.
We are back in person, and we do see that the socialization skills that have been lacking during their sheltering and care and their e-learning are manifesting in the classroom. And I mean, it's really hard on them. And it's
Mhm.
hard on the teachers because they're dealing with their own set of fears. And it is a fearful situation because even though we always had a pretty robust precautionary measures in place because we are the cesspool for infectious diseases. So now we've had to amplify our precautions. And so we're wearing masks all day, and we're just doing so much, but we've been successful. We've been keeping this virus at bay, unlike the rest of the city, the states, and the country and the world. We've been doing a pretty good job. So
How
we
big is your operation? I'm just curious.
so we We have 72 employees in our operation, and we have over 700 children that we service daily.
Wow.
Yeah, from
I don't
age.
even know how I'm going to ask you this question because I don't even know if the answer exists. But describe a typical day for you if it exists.
Yeah, typical. No day has been typical since I graduated from college, actually. But there's some things that are common in my day. I wake up every morning in prayer, and I've ripped out my jacuzzi and put a big soaker tub in there. So I sit in my tub, and I do my meditation, and I give thanks to God. And those are things that are constant. If my day doesn't start like that, then my day is kind of off centered.
Mm-hmm.
And then I coffee. Coffee is like, for I don't know about other people, but for me, coffee is like my lifeline. So I have to have that coffee every single morning, and then it gets a little bit tricky. So I check my banking every day, and I want to encourage everybody, check your accounts every day, because fraud right now during this pandemic has been on the rampage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you don't know it, you can't circumvent it. But if you know it and you're checking it every day, then you can really preempt it. So I do that, and then I get ready for the show. So I go to iHeart every day. I'm there by 12 o'clock. Our show start. I mean, I'm there by 11:30. Our show starts at 12 o'clock, and we do, like, in that interim between that time, I'm setting up for the show. Now, lately, since we've been dealing with this workforce crisis, I've been in a classroom. I've been going to the site
Mm-hmm.
and actually helping out. And that's really my passion. Teaching is really my passion. But I got so many other things to do that I got to find somebody to fill my space so that I can get back to doing what I need to do every single day.
You know,
But
it's interesting, Tamara, because all across so many industries, there is a workforce crisis. I don't think people fully appreciate that. It's hard to find qualified and interested people to work right now.
and even if you find qualified and interested people, are they going to come? We've literally had people come to work, I mean, excited, qualified, go to lunch, never see them again. That's true. That's facts. And we've had people to interview, accept the job, very excited, never show up. I mean, it is definitely a pandemic in the midst of a pandemic.
To what do you attribute that? I'm curious.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I think that when the government, and no aspersion to the government, I think that they acted in accordance with what they thought was going to work, because people were in panic mode. And so putting all that money on the streets was great, but it also created a population of people who decided that I didn't have to work, or I could work from home. And when you're in childcare, you can't really work from home.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they got used to it. And so all of the PPPs and the child care tax credits, they've been living off of those. And so, but it did give people a chance to really understand, what do I want to do? What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
What are my options? What are my plan Bs? Unfortunately, has left a lot of industry without a plan A. And so here we are. We're muddling through it the best way we can.
So you alluded to the fact that in addition to your work in childcare and community service, you dabble in entertainment. So tell me a little bit more about your work in the entertainment industry.
Another career that I did not choose. And people think, I guess, because I'm pretty animated, that was my lifelong dream. No, I'm living my lifelong dream. Childcare was my lifelong dream. After the other two dreams, I woke up from those. But I was living my lifelong dream. And then my sorority sister, and I am a proud member of the AKA sorority.
Kiwi Sora.
Kiwi soror. I knew that. Anyway, so when my sorority sister, and you know how we are about our sisterhood, when they call and they say, we need you, that's it. That's the magic word.
Mm-hmm.
So my sorority sister, Pastor Vero Howard, she called me and she said, I'm now casting for, she's a big time gospel. She books gospel artists.
Okay.
And she also manages gospel artists. And
Mm-hmm.
so she started managing directors and in that genre. And she said, I need you to come and audition for a part. And I kept saying, okay, great. It was like 2015, and we were going through the worst childcare crisis in Illinois. And I was working on it because I'm also an advocate. And I kept pushing her off, but I was pushing her off gently, like a sister would do, right? And she
Hmm.
kept pushing back. And she said, I need you. So I came.
Like
I
a sister
auditioned
would do.
like a sister would do. And she said, I need you. And I went, auditioned. I got the part. I just knew I wasn't going to get this part and she was going to leave me alone. And then I got hooked, I got hooked. And right while I was filming that, I got another part that I didn't even audition for. I said, well, you know, if you're going to do something, you got to do it right. You got to get a manager. And I was just thinking I was getting this manager for one part. And then here comes the next one and the next one and the next one. And
Good for you.
now we're one of the films that I helped to co-produce is up for an Academy Award, if you can believe that. It's
Look
like
at that. Wonderful.
surreal. It's surreal.
Fantastic. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a wonderful achievement. I'm just curious then, what attracts you to the different projects that you participate in?
It just depends. I'm a Gemini, so it depends on the mood I'm in. It depends on how I woke up that morning. It depends on the presentation. So some of the things that attract me are just all those variables that I just mentioned. Like I'm in real estate too, so I'm doing some Airbnbs and I've got them in different states. Sometimes I just can't even imagine that all these things go on, but they do, and they go on and they go on really well. But the projects are just really specific to the project. If I like it, I do it. If I don't, I pass it on. I'll share
You
it.
didn't tell me the name of the film. What film are we talking about?
It's Ageless Love. A producer, I mean, a director, writer, talented gentleman by the name of Joshua Coates, 2020 Vision Productions, actually did this. And that was the first director that auditioned me and cast me for a film. And so then we collaborated on some things, and it's a Jewish love story, and the storyline is amazing. But we learned last Friday, actually, that we are eligible for the Academy nomination, and so we're hoping that we get nominated.
Good for you. Very, very good. In the midst of all of this, I know that community participation and service is extremely important to you. So you're a Renaissance woman. Tell me, how do you give back to others and how do you participate fully in your community?
That's a great question. And so with childcare, you're reaching families, and
Mhm.
with families, you're reaching the communities. I mean, you're really at the bedrock of what makes our country, our lives work, right? So I'm a part of a fabulous organization called Childcare Advocates United, and we shape policy that really impacts not just childcare, the lives and policy that shape childcare, but also the lives and policies that shape families. So
Mhm.
we give back in that way, and not just that way. We give back monetarily. We're conducting free COVID testing at our sites right now, so that parents don't have to guess. Give them 24-hour results, and they're PCRs. So they're the most reliable that's on the market. And so when we see that families are burned out in our areas, and we service some of the very most vulnerable at-risk communities in Chicago. So
Mhm.
when we see families are burned out, we make sure that they have what they need in terms of a place to stay in the interim, food and shelter.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, my team is amazing. I got to give a shout out to my premier team, those 72 men and women that come hell or high water every day, vortex or not, they come to service those families. So I'm very happy to be a part of a team like that.
That is wonderful. Absolutely. So what does the future look like for you?
Well, I'm pretty excited about every project that I have in the works right now. So the future looks like more of the same, but again,
Mhm.
that gift to shift may take me right or left, and I'm ready. I
Yes.
am. So if we no change that when we get nominated for this Academy
Put
Award,
it out there. Put it out
there you
there.
go, because the universe hears and acts on what you say. I'm a firm believer
Mhm.
of that.
Exactly.
And so I believe that when you put out positivity, more positivity comes back.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for more of movie, the movie projects. I'm looking for more in front of the camera and behind the camera. So that's always going to be great. But my mainstay, my I'm going to do this until I can't do it anymore is definitely going to be children and families.
Wonderful. 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 I guess finally, let me just ask you, what's the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today?
Is it only one thing, Star? Or can I name a couple?
You can name a couple.
Okay. So the one thing that I would really like to impose upon people is positivity. That when you literally put your mind to whatever it is you want to do, it's just you and that thing that's standing in your way. And all you have to do is know that you're enough to get it done, no matter what it is. And then the thing that I learned over these past 6 years is that policy shapes everything. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't deal with politics," and I was one of those people until I started understanding that if I don't tell the policymakers how I want policy to look in my industry, they don't know. And so get involved in every aspect that you can, so that you can educate them on how you want your neighborhoods, your communities, your schools to look, and really just take it to the next level. You may not want to do it, but it's something that you have to do. Something that I took away from the Emmett Till story, which was very impactful to me, was when his mom said, "If there's something that impacts one of us, it better be the business of all of us."
Yes, indeed.
Politics is that business. It's about the business of all of us. So I'm not a politician, but I have some really good friends that are, and they have expressed and explained in detail to me how important this democracy is and how big a role we play in it. So that's the takeaway.
I love that. I read this quote a few days ago that extraordinary things are always hiding in places people never think to look. And it is very important for us to really look towards the future, look towards the positive, and keep your mind open to wonderful possibilities. Setting goals literally is the first step to turning the invisible into the visible. So put a goal out there and then go for it, which is exactly what you have done. Thank you so much for your time today. I certainly wish you the best with all the projects that you're working on.
Thank you. And you keep doing what you're doing. I've looked up to you for so long, and this has been one of my goals, and it has come true. So let's see if we can do some more.
Excellent. Best wishes.